Hey y'all, what's up? Big Wooly here, and welcome back to another episode of our All the Mods 10 Let's Play. In today's episode, we're going to finish up the induction card that we didn't get to in the last episode, and then we're going to start working on things for alloys with all of our All the Mods ores, all of that stuff, the ores, them things. Oh, yeah, just shut up, Wooly, and get into the episode. So, as I said, we're going to get into the induction card. We didn't quite make it there last time. It is not too much to get through, but we should do it anyways. So, to make the induction card, we are going to need to be able to make these energy processors. They're kind of the core of it. And the root of that is we need to start making these redstone crystals, which we can conveniently make in a reaction chamber. This is just as simple as making the pattern for it. We already have all of the things in this pattern craftable or being generated for us, and then we can put that into our crystal assembler. Or no, not the crystal assembler, the reaction chamber. It's right here, and we will be able to make redstone crystals. Let's go ahead and make some. Grab them out in our inventory. That way we get the quest credit or whatever. So you tell it to make one, it'll make 64. Either way, we've got our redstone crystals. I forgot that most of this stuff doesn't actually have quest lines. Now, we need to charge this stuff, which just takes water and power, also in the reaction chamber. Let's make another recipe. Oops, I went one too many. There we go. So we're going to go over to the reaction chamber, tell it we can take that, put it into here, which now it knows how to make the redstone crystals, and that'll get us our charged redstone. Printed energy circuits will need to go through the circuit slicer, which takes charged redstone crystal blocks, which means we need to take the charged redstone that we can now make and put it into a compacting drawer so that we can have both block and regular form of the charged redstone. So let's make sure we have the recipe in the circuit slicer for that. I think we put it in even though we couldn't make it before. No. Yes, we put that in there. So we have the processing pattern in there in the circuit slicer for the printed energy circuit. All we need to do is get it into block form. And do we have the recipe in the crystal assembler? We do not. So let's go ahead and make the recipe for the processor. So pattern access terminal, energy processor. It's going to be able to make all of that in just a minute. We'll go make that drawer together. And then this goes into the crystal assembler. Then we need to be able to make energy acceptors, which I don't think we have pattern for. We do. We already have the energy acceptor, but now we need the flux accessor, which we don't have. So let's get to our pattern encoding terminal and let's make one of these, which as soon as we make that drawer, we'll be able to make those energy processors. And this is just a crafting pattern for a molecular assembler. Just run it down the line, put it in the next one, and then let's pop over here and make a compacting drawer. Let's see what we need. Do we need a simple? So charged redstone. It does stack into those multiples, so we could just use a regular compacting drawer. We'll grab that out. Let's tell the system to make us some charged redstone. So can you make me 1,000? Looks like it can. We can come over here and watch our craft. There we have it. It's done. So we'll throw down this compacting drawer. We'll grab out some diamond upgrades, and then we'll pull out our charged redstone. Now, this is going to get us into some other dilemmas that we've been running into. I'm going to still avoid them. I want to get into the stock export bus, but I haven't studied up on that, and I don't want to try and fumble through it with you guys and make another awkward episode of you watching me try to figure things out while I'm supposedly making a video. So we're going to lock this drawer. Now we're going to attach it to our storage controller, and we should have access to the blocks we need for the circuit slicer to be able to make our energy processors. The energy processors are what's needed for the induction card, which is the last recipe we have not put into our system. So let's make a pattern for the induction card. It already knows how to make the blank cards, and that is just another crafting pattern for the molecular assemblers. With that said, induction. Let's see. We're going to just start with 10, and we're going to go around and see how many machines we can get power to and remove a bunch of ugly cables. I'm going to start right up here because I bet this is on a pattern provider. So if I put an induction card in it, wow, did it just delete 10 of them? No, it just put them into storage. Cool. So now it's getting power through there, and I should be able to break this and I won't need it anymore. We can do the same here. So let's spread these out so we don't have to keep getting them back out of our inventory. Put an induction card in there. This doesn't need power anymore. Now, what this is capable of throughput for power, I don't know. That will be something yet to be seen as to whether it's going to be able to send enough power into these devices. Like we already had to supplement this one with a nitro gate to keep the power up. So hopefully it would be able to get more power there, but we'll find out when we start running things. This one is on an export bus, so we're going to need to keep power to it, but I'll just replace it with a gate, and then we don't have to run an ugly cable over here. So let's get some power back onto the powered centrifuge because it's not on a pattern provider. Now, the one here is, we just got to get to the back of it, which I think we can access over here, and we're going to toss another induction card in there. There are currently no patterns in the charger, but it can get power through there. And now we can actually just remove all of the cables that we just took out, and there we go. So now all of these are getting power from AE2. We'll be able to put these in anywhere where we're using a pattern provider to interface with a block directly. So here, for example, on the crushing factory. Now, whether it'll be able to send enough power or not is a whole other story, but we can put that in there, and now it should be getting power from AE2, and we could take the line out underneath. That covers the induction card and the charged redstone. Give me just a minute to get things together, and we will get into the Enchanting apparatus from Ars Nouveau. All right, here we are out by our farms. I don't know if you guys have seen me cover it in any of this before. I don't think we covered it in an episode, but we're generating source right now with an agronomic source link. I think I did it very, very early on to get a few source stones, but I didn't set it up automated. I automated this in like the most basic way possible. I just come over here and toss a bunch of lapis in this chest, and then I've got extract cards and import cards that take the lapis out, and then they pull the source gems out of here once it's finished. And our source, we don't have to worry about because our crops are always growing. And if our crops are always growing, you'll see source comes in as fast as we use it. I mean, this thing will pull some down, and then we'll start seeing it come in from the next round of crops as soon as they grow again. There you go. So we have essentially unlimited source. We could put some more source jars down. We could put a source link here and pull the source into our network, I believe. I think there's disks for that. But wanted to cover it because we're getting into Ars Nouveau. And we need source gems for a lot of things. One of them for this that we need it for are source stone. Now, I actually have source stone, I do believe, on AutoCraft, or I may not have added it yet. But either way, we just need to make some source stone, which if we look at the recipe is just any kind of stone with a source gem in the middle. So I'd made a bunch because decorations at the base. So these lanterns here are source stone lanterns, and then we've got source stone chains. There's a bunch of different source stone stuff that I put in. I think we've got source stone doors, on the bedrooms. So we're using source stone around the base. This is where I'm getting the gems for it from. I probably ought to make this a little more sophisticated, and we could put a drawer down here and cap it and say, maybe even one upgrade so it keeps a lot of source gems ready for us. But that's a problem for off-camera Wooly. It's not something I want to make you watch. Now, let's go take a look at the quest line and see what ours covers as far as the source stuff, if it's even in here. So I don't know if I've even looked at the Ars Nouveau quest line, but let's look at it together. Oh yeah, we are behind. So wants us to make a spell book, which I've never been good with Ars spells. And I don't know that this is the series I'm going to start. Maybe next time. Y'all pester me in the comments and we'll play heavily with Ars in a future series. I just, I've never done it, and then I got to learn it, and, then I'm a hot mess, and then I'm worried that I'm not doing it right. You know how that goes. So, anywho, there's our spell book. That's going to get us unlocked for a bunch of the things that we've already done. Source jars, the agronomic source link. We've made source stone. The only thing we haven't done is make some pedestals. So let's bookmark those. We're going to need 8 of them. Let's make sure we don't get freebies from the quest. We don't. And then we're going to need to make the arcane core. So let's get in here, and we need 8 arcane pedestals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, we're out of these. Can we make source stone? We do not have a recipe for source stone. Let's get a recipe for source stone. So source stone. And then we just want the regular source stone, wherever it is. There it is. Right? And where is our recipe? There it is. What is it trying to pull? I don't care if it uses Kiwi because I'm not doing a bunch of Zycraft, although there's cool stuff you can do with Zycraft. So there's our pattern for source stone. We'll come toss it in here. And now we should be able to tell the system, hey, make me a bunch of that. Can you do 1,000? It says no problem. So we're going to need 8 total of these pedestals for our enchantment setup. There we go. Total of 8. So now we've already made the enchanting apparatus. The last thing we need to make is the arcane core. This is what allows us to do enchanting with Ars Nouveau. Sweet. So all we have left is we need a spot, an Ars spot. And you know what? I think right here could be good. So let's just clear out some of that. And the center of this setup is the arcane core. Now, I do believe we can sink the arcane core down into the ground. And then we put our enchanting apparatus here on top of it. And then we should be able to put our pedestals around. We need 8 of them. So we can do sort of like this, and then here, and there, there, and there. And that should allow us to use our enchanting apparatus. Now, the reason we're getting into the enchanting apparatus is it is used to make a bunch of things. But for the star, for the sake of the All the Mods star, it is used to make one of the alloys. Now, where is it in the... I think it's under enchanting. Well, let's just look it up. Alloy. So which one is it? There we go. It's not this one. It's these. So that's in Powa. That's in the dissolution chamber. Here we go. Unobtainium and all the modium alloy is made in the enchanting apparatus, 1 block at a time. We are going to have to feed all of these other components into our enchanting apparatus to make it. Now you're going to notice we're not quite there yet. We have not made any of these essences. So we're going to need to craft a setup that kind of creates a stockpile of each of these essences for Ars Nouveau so that we can make unlimited amounts of the alloy as we need it. So give me a few minutes to gather all of those components together, and we will get that set up so that we can use our new enchanting apparatus. All right, y'all, got some things together. I'm back. We made these arcane pedestals, but we also need pedestals or arcane platforms for the imbuement chamber to make all of the essences we're going to need for going forward in Ars Nouveau. Now, this is a little different. Things you put on the pedestals for the enchanting apparatus are consumed. Things that go on the pedestals for the imbuement chamber are catalysts and are not consumed. They just allow you to craft whatever it is you're trying to craft. So we're going to make some setups for each of the essences, and we're going to kind of just do it right here in between the farms. Hopefully I can keep it nice and tidy enough that it doesn't look atrocious, but we've got just enough room that if I put 4 of them here, we should be able to get the things we need around them. Now, there is a neat thing about the pedestal versus the platform versus the pedestal. They can actually be placed right up on your imbuement chamber. And the cool part about that is that makes it a little bit tidier of a setup, and it doesn't take up as much space in the base. So let me finish setting all of these up, and then we will get the materials on each of them we need, and we will proceed to automate this. So here's hoping this goes well. I have not tried this before, but what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to automate these with drawers as our container for things, since we can get stuff into and out of our drawers over the network, and I think it'll work, but I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that, but we're going to try. If not, we will do some laser IO or something of the sort. But for the drawers, since they're going to be visible, I want to do some framed ones. So we made up some framed 1x2 drawers, And you can configure these by putting your materials that you want to trim the drawer out with up here in the top. Now, I do believe you can add a third item, but I'm not sure. You put the drawer on the second row, and then you put the things you want up here, and then the other 3 change things, but I'm not sure what all they change. Anyways, we're going to go with vexing archwood on the outside, and we're going to go with archwood planks for the face to make them kind of go with the theme of the base. So we're going to put one of these directly on top of each of the imbuement chamber setups. And what we're hoping that we're going to be able to do here is we are hoping that we might be able to export our source gems that we need to make each of these essences into these and have it, fill this drawer and then put the result in each of the drawers as well. So let's get these set up and just test to make sure that we've got everything we need. So we need a feather, an arrow, and a Wilden wing. So do we have a Wilden wing? We do. Awesome. Now we need a feather and an arrow. So the way these work is we put one of each of these in each of the pedestals. So there's our feather, here's our Wilden wing, here's our arrow, and then if I understand it correctly, I should be able to take a source gem and smack it in here, and it's going to craft an air essence. Now, there's no source nearby enough, so we probably need to get ourselves like an agronomic source link and a source jar over here so that we can get source on this side as well. But that will proceed on. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get all the reagents in for all the others, and I'll be back again. All right, I got all of them staged, and they are currently working on crafting each of the source gems. Looks like I'm going to need another source jar a touch closer to this one on the end. We did run into an issue with them being as close as they were. It was seeing the ingredient on the platform from the next one as one for here and wouldn't craft another one, so we had to space them out a little bit more. So it looks like I may need one more agronomic source link over here and one more source jar. Let's see if we can get one more source jar going. Ooh, there's an Aldomadium source jar that holds more. That's cool. And wait, an Ender source jar so I can fill it somewhere else and send it? Oh my gosh, there's all kinds of goodies. Ars Editions. Heck yeah, ME source jar. That's cool. We can pull it in the system. Where's the regular one? Where's the plain Jane source jar? There we go. All right, so let's make one more source jar. We'll see if it fills from our agronomic source link over there. Maybe it will. I'm not sure what the range is on the agronomic source link. So next time these crops grow, oh, look at there. Cool. So it's in range. Now you'll notice there's nothing in the drawers. I had to change these from the 1x1 or the 1x2 we made to a 1x1. We're not going to be able to do it the way I was thinking. So what we'll end up doing is we'll just bring some cable over and we're going to run an export bus to the bottom of each of these. And we're going to tell it to export our source gems into here. And then for getting them out and into the drawer, we're hoping we can use this puller upgrade right here. So let's make 4 of them and just assume that it's going to work. They don't stack. Oh, they do stack. Okay. So now I've got more than I need. Let's really hope they work. So we're going to put one in there and we're going to come look and we want it to pull from the down. Aha! It will work. So all we got to do now is lock and link these as we set the puller upgrade. So lock it and link it. All of these are in range. As you can see, we're still in range of our drawer controller up here. So that's going to be super nice. So now one more. We should be able to set all of these right here if we right click it in the GUI to change to down. And now we can put one in each drawer. That'll tell them to pull. We can lock and link them. And now we have access to each of the elements that we need for our enchanting apparatus being automatically created, sort of. So I got to come in here underneath, and we're going to have to tunnel our way over under this row. And let's see, where should the first one be? It is this block right here. There we go. And then skip 2 and go up again. We should be under another one. There we go. So skip 1, 2, and up underneath there. Now, I brought this all the way open, but it looks like we're not going to need that. Let me grab out some export buses. We just need plain export buses. We want 4 of them. And then we need source gems to set the filter and cable to carry it back after we put it in here. So we're going to set an export bus. We're going to tell it source gems, And then we're going to bring the cable down and work our way out through each of them as we set them. There we have it. Set all of them to export source gems, tied it back in on the same link that's connecting our storage controller, and our export bus here to automate our source gems. And now you'll see we're up to 3 each. So our automation is working. These will cap out at 2,000 of each of these essences. If it seems like we need more stored up, we can always throw some storage upgrades in here. But there we have it. Everything automated that I think we were missing for our, what was it? Unobtainium? Unobtainium and this one. So there's all of those. We just need unobtainium ingots, piglet hearts, and all the modium ingots. Now, I think that we have enough time to try and automate this using probably modular routers. It's going to be our best bet. So give me a few minutes to come up with a plan and get the materials together, and we'll see if we can't automate the enchanting apparatus to make us our unobtainium all the modium alloy. All right, so I did some cable management, brought some dense cable further up just to make sure we don't have channels as an issue. I shrunk myself so that I could fit in these tiny little holes, and I got us a modular router set up in a range that I think will reach all of our enchanting apparatus. So now it's just as simple as making the pattern. So if we look up the pattern for the unobtainium, this one, let's go ahead and bookmark it so we don't have to keep searching it. We're going to need to send piglet hearts to 2 different ones. We're going to need to send the air essences to 1 apiece. We're going to need to send unobtainium and all the modium. And then we're also going to need to put a source gem in the middle. So give me a few minutes. I'm going to do this just like we did on our stream. So you take a sender module and you only want to do 1 at a time. And then we're going to go pick a destination. So let's say this one. So for what we're going to send to that one, we're going to change this to a whitelist. And then we are going to send piglet hearts to that one. So we can just drag it over, change it to a whitelist, and now it should be saved. I've cleared it of targets, but it didn't clear the settings. You shift right click to set it. We double check our settings, whitelist, piglet heart. Then we can put it into our sender module. I'm going to rinse and repeat for the other 9 things that need to be sent. Conveniently, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of these, which actually might be a problem, and I may have to make the one that sends things to multiples. So I'll do that, and I'll go over everything when I'm done. Alrighty, I think we have everything set. I had to use a distributor module since 2 of the pedestals took piglet hearts. That worked out. So the distributor module will send 1 each there, and then all the rest of the ingredients for the recipe to each of the spots, including sending the source gem to the middle. So now all that's left is to put a pattern in the pattern provider and test it, see if it works. So let's shrink ourselves down all tiny. Let's go make a pattern. So we want a pattern for this in the enchanting apparatus. So our all the modium alloy, all the modium unobtainium alloy in the enchanting apparatus. We're going to toss it in here. And then if we tell our system to make one after making ourselves where we can see over the weeds, it should hopefully just work. So let's see. Unobtainium alloy. Go. Wait for it. It's because the one in the first slot. Oh, I bet you I need to tell it to continue regardless. So give me just a second to change that on all of these. I'll show you what I'm talking about on the first one. So in here, we should have a distributor module, which I didn't clear it, thankfully. So if we right click, we're going to look, and then it is always continue executing subsequent modules on this tick, regardless of whether this module did anything. Okay, so that should in theory work. Why are you not sending the source gem? So the source gem's on the whitelist. Do one of these. Let's see. Always continue, whitelist any, ignore item components, match item damage. They should be sending. It's always on. There it is in the buffer. Now I wonder if I just put this first, will it send it? Nope. Let me troubleshoot. All right. I found the problem. Once again, this is too close to other pedestals. These pedestals are being picked up, and so it can't send the source gem, because it's saying no valid recipe found. And you'll notice it's highlighting these two pedestals right here. Now, the question would become, could I potentially just move like this one to this side and this one to the other side and not have a problem? So let me try that. I'll get back with you. One problem solved, another one come up. Not enough source nearby was showing up, which means it couldn't run the craft because there wasn't enough source. So the last thing we're going to need to do, it took because one of these jars near enough got enough in it. We're going to need to get some source over here. Let's take a look at what that looks like. But we should, in theory, be able to send this. So we pulled it. Oh, crap. It's not going to be able to pull back out of the... We need like a push module to push it back into the inventory. Dang it. Almost there, but we don't have enough space for all of those things. How should we send this back? Should I make it a big one and just laser IO it? Think you should, Wooly. That'll be the easiest way that you know how to do to get it done in a hurry. Give me a moment. We're actually going to do it with modular routers because we're already doing that. So we're going to set a puller upgrade to pull from here into this one, and we're going to whitelist our product on it. So we're going to whitelist all the modium in it and tell it that this is what you're allowed to pull. So there's a puller module. Now it should pull from over there into here, and then we can just do a sender module back into the extended pattern provider. Well, we need the location. Come on, Wooly. So into the pattern provider, and then we're also going to tell it whitelist, and we'll have to remember to send items that we add. We'll have to add them in here too. And there we go. So now, if we were to run another one, it in theory should work if there's enough source in the jar nearby at the time that the recipe comes through. So let's cover over these holes. Let me grab a source jar, get some source closer by, and we'll try again. Okay, had to make up our wand, which is made on the Enchanting apparatus here. It's just 2 source gems, a gold, and a stick. You just put them on and stick them in there, and it makes it. We crafted up 2 source relays, and we're going to use this jar right next to our main crop farm over here. And what you have to do to get it to send is you have to right-click on the jar and then click the relay so that it will take from the jar and put it into the relay. Then you right-click the relay and right-click the other relay, and that will make that relay send to this relay. Then we right-click this relay and right-click the jar, and that makes it where whenever it uses source or this is empty, it will send source from this jar on over to this one. And we should, in theory, have enough. Let's try one more. Unobtainium. Let's see if we can get it to craft all on its own. So we should start seeing our items pop in. The only downside, I think, is going to be pattern order again, which is what's getting us in trouble. So it can't do anything with this source gem until everything else is in, which is an easy enough problem to solve that we've run into before. We just need to come in here, we take our pattern, we put it back in, and we're going to take out the water essence and the gem, and we're going to swap them. We're going to put the water essence in slot 1, and we're going to put the source gem in the last one. If we cancel our craft, and we come and extract our source gem that is stuck in this relay, right? Actually, it didn't send it. No, it sent it to this one. Ah, crud. That's a new problem. This should be simple enough. Let's do that. We'll put this modular router here. Boy, this is not as easy as one would hope. So now we have everything. This should still send because these are coordinate based. And nothing is sending to this one. We're doing all the pulling. So let's give it one more go. Oh. We did not pull our pattern back out of our pattern access. So we changed it. Let's make sure we write it. And now the source gem is the last thing that it should send. Let's try again. Now there's absolutely nothing in the buffer, and it's not trying to send anything. Troubleshooting. I'll be back. All right, y'all. Well, that was a weird one. I ended up just opening this up and checking everything. Nothing seemed wrong, so I broke the pattern provider and just put it back down, put the router back down. And now, if we tell our system to make us one, and we stand back and watch, we should see everything pop in onto each of the pedestals, perform the craft, pulls from the source jar that I linked up. Pulls the unobtainium ingot back, sends it back into the pattern provider, and there we have it. Automated all-the-modium alloy, unobtainium all-the-modium alloy ingot. Now, this one in particular is important because this is a part of the star. That is an episode coming soon. We're gonna start talking about our roadmap and our plan on how we're gonna attack getting a star done. But if you look here, one of the things we need the most of is the unobtainium all-the-modium alloy block. We need them all the way around the outside of the star, inside of this crafting doohickey from modular machinery, which we're going to have to make. So this is why we got this done so early. I do believe there is actually a pattern to do this in a whole block. So if we go to the uses of this, and then we go here, yep. So we need blocks of all of those things, which means we may want to make a change here and change these setups to be compacting drawers so that we can have them in both their regular form and in whole blocks if that's supported. So I'll look into that in between episodes. If I make a change, I'll let you guys know. Now we can mark off the enchanting apparatus, and I'm looking here at the awakening altar and cognizant dust. I was hoping that we would have enough time today to cover both of those, but it is not in the cards. So we'll get into that in the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you were able to learn something from it. If you haven't already, hit that like button. If you're not, go ahead and subscribe, ring the bell for future notifications, and come check us out tomorrow morning on our Saturday morning coffee and crafting at 8 a.m. Mountain, 10 a.m. Eastern, here on the channel. Thanks. Bye-bye.